You're a disappointment. You shouldn't even exist. My mother sneered across the dinner table. After being branded the letdown, I declared they didn't deserve my help and scrapped every wedding expense in a single night. My name's Caleb. I'm 30, the youngest of 3 siblings, and evidently the one who shattered the family's expectations. That wasn't my imagination. My mom genuinely said it. She's always labeled me peculiar, cloaking her cruelty in a veneer of kindness that stung just the same. In our household, peculiar meant you don't fit. And by that, she meant alongside my sister Amelia and brother Nathan, the flawless one and the dependable one. Amelia had everything I lacked. She was tidy, charismatic, and thriving in a way society admires. She made partner at her law firm last year and instantly became a walking bridal magazine, strutting in stilettos. Nathan was quieter, but mom's rock. He landed a steady finance job, married a gentle woman, and gifted my parents their first grandkid before 30. Me? I pursued art school, freelance as a graphic designer, live in a cozy apartment above a bakery, own a car I paid off myself, and genuinely love my life. But to my family, that's worthless, because I didn't tread their road. Amelia's engagement dinner was at an upscale restaurant with polished marble floors, gold-trimmed menus, and servers who memorized orders flawlessly. It was meant to be intimate, just immediate family and a few friends. But with Amelia, it was a rehearsal for her wedding. Everything had to be picture perfect. The lighting, seating chart, even the cocktail hues. I got the invite the day they finalized the venue. I'm serious. The email read, "Hey Caleb, just a heads up, engagement dinner's next Saturday at Lush, 7 p.m., dress sharp." That was it. "No, we'd love to see you." "No, can you make it?" Just a curt note like they were checking a list. Still, I showed up. I pressed a collared shirt, polished my shoes, and got a fresh haircut. I wasn't there to flaunt. I just didn't want to hand them another excuse to judge me. I parked across the street, walked in, and gave the host my name. He arched an eyebrow, then guided me down a corridor to a private dining room. The lighting was warm, the table impeccable, and everyone was seated. But one detail stopped me cold: the place cards. They were elegant folded cards with gilded script, likely printed, not hand-scribed. Amelia's read bride-to-be. Her fiancé, Lucas, had future groom. Mom and Dad were mother of the bride and proud father. Even Nathan got best brother. Then I saw mine, and my stomach churned. The letdown. At first, I thought it was a cruel prank, a typo someone overlooked. I stood frozen, silent, and then laughter erupted. Amelia's friend Sophie raised her glass of crimson spritzer to her lips. Lucas chuckled softly, shooting Amelia an approving glance. Mom grinned, not sheepishly, but like she'd orchestrated it. "Lighten up, Caleb," she said. "It's just a jest. Don't be so sensitive." Nathan didn't laugh. I averted my gaze, feigning interest in my water glass. I sat down slowly, my chest constricting. After that, their voices blurred into static like a radio stuck between stations. They toasted the couple, discussed catering, decor, destinations, and the honeymoon. They shared appetizers and laughed at inside jokes I wasn't privy to. No one addressed me again, not by name, just tossed barbs like, "Someone's awfully quiet," or "Guess we ruffled his feathers." I stayed mute initially, but as they sipped more spritzers and their laughter grew bolder, something in me fractured. Not loudly, but like a quiet snap deep inside. I saw my family clearly for the first time. Their polished facade, their hollow warmth, their veiled jabs behind smiles. I realized I wasn't furious because they'd gone too far. I was furious because I'd allowed it for so long. When Amelia raised her glass again, saying, "To family who sticks by you even when you botch your life chasing art," I stood. I didn't yell. I didn't smash anything. I lifted my glass, scanned their faces, truly saw them, and said, "To family, the kind you learn to let go of." The room fell silent. Even the server halted mid-stride. I set my glass down gently and walked out. No one followed, not immediately. In the parking lot, I grabbed my keys. Lucas's car, still under my name due to his shaky credit, was parked beside mine. I'd been the obliging future brother-in-law who stepped up months ago, but I kept a spare key and left my name on the title for a reason. I unlocked it, slid in, and drove off without hesitation. On the way home, I called the venue they planned to tour that weekend. I'd covered the deposit. I'd also funded their pre-engagement trip to Sonoma and the lavish dessert tasting set for Tuesday. I canceled it all one by one. I was courteous. I didn't shout. I just said circumstances had shifted. At my apartment, my phone erupted. Calls from Amelia, Lucas, Mom, Nathan, back to back. I didn't answer, feeling an odd sense of control for the first time in years. Then came the texts. At first, a trickle. A missed call from Amelia. A text from Mom. "What's this nonsense? Stop being dramatic." Lucas left a voicemail, his tone artificially composed. "Hey, Caleb. Okay, you've made your stance clear. Can we talk? No need to go overboard, buddy." I didn't respond. Sitting on my couch, a mix of nerves and calm, my phone buzzed relentlessly. 31 missed calls, 12 voicemails. Amelia's text morphed from puzzled to livid to frantic. "Caleb, where's the car? You're not serious. You wouldn't. Sonoma's in 3 days. Call me." Mom texted again. "If you were upset, you should have said so. This is immature and cruel. You're ruining a special moment." That made me scoff. Not because it was amusing, but because it was so them. I was spoiling their spotlight. Never mind that they'd cackled while branding me a letdown in gilded font. I opened our family group chat, yes, we had one, and saw Nathan finally chime in. "What's going on? Why is Sonoma canceled?" No one answered. So I sent one text. "Check whose name's on the payments and don't disguise insults as humor next time. Good luck sorting it out." Then I exited the chat for good. The next day, the restaurant called. The car was towed under my name. I told the leasing company it wasn't in trustworthy hands and they acted swiftly. It's funny how fast people move when assets are at stake. By noon, Lucas sent a flurry of enraged texts. "You're unhinged. You'll pay for this. Don't expect another family invite." Invited? I wasn't sure I ever truly was, and that realization hit harder than expected because deep down I'd always craved inclusion. Even when I shrugged it off or stayed silent, a small, aching part of me hoped they'd see me, value me beyond fake grins and mean-spirited jests. But that morning, sipping stale coffee from the night before, I understood something else. They no longer defined my worth. Amelia cared only about appearances. Lucas was fixated on control. My parents clung to a narrow vision of success, one path only, and I'd veered off it. For years, I'd bought their narrative that because I didn't earn 6 figures, wear a tie, or own a suburban home, I was nothing. A side character in their perfect family script. But now I held the pen. That evening, Nathan appeared at my door. I heard the knock, checked the peephole, and hesitated. He was alone. No mom, no Amelia, no smug fiancé lurking nearby, just my brother, looking weary, holding 2 coffee cups. I opened the door wordlessly. "Hey," he said quietly. I didn't smile. "You knew it was too much before you got there, but you didn't stop it," I said, not accusing, just stating fact. He stared at the floor. "Yeah, I didn't. I should have. I'm sorry." We sat on the balcony watching streetlights flicker on. For a while, we were silent. Then Nathan cleared his throat. "Last year, Dad said something about you at Christmas. You weren't supposed to hear. He said, 'Caleb's not the son you boast about at the office, but he's the one who'd help you bury a body if you asked.'" Nathan gave a soft chuckle. I think he meant it as praise. I didn't know how to respond, so I shook my head and sipped my coffee. Nathan stayed another 20 minutes before leaving. He didn't urge me to forgive or defend anyone. He just said, "Call me if you want to talk or don't." I get it either way. The next few days were oddly serene. The quiet was louder than their noise ever was, but soothing like removing earbuds after hours of static. I deleted the voicemails, blocked Lucas, and silenced Mom and Amelia, not out of spite, but necessity, for my own peace. Still, I knew more was coming. I hadn't faced the worst yet. When the wedding coordinator called, frazzled because half the vendors had backed out, I knew the next wave of drama was about to hit, and I was ready to watch it unfold. That call came 2 days later. I nearly ignored it. The number was unfamiliar, and I'd grown used to dodging unknown callers. But something nudged me to pick up. "Hi, is this Caleb Weston? This is Laura Vance, Amelia's wedding planner. Sorry to bother you, but there's confusion I need your help with." I stayed quiet, letting her continue. Her tone was professional but tense. "Multiple vendors said bookings under your name were canceled. The Sonoma trip, the dessert tasting, the wedding party transport. Amelia assured us everything was paid, and you were just co-signing. But your name's on nearly every major contract." "Correct," I said evenly. She paused, papers rustling. "So you canceled them?" "Yes." Another long pause. "I see," she said. "Then I don't need to ask why." "No, you don't," she exhaled. "Okay, thank you for clarifying. I'm sure Amelia will contact me soon." "I'm sure she will," I said, hanging up. Within 5 minutes, the tempest hit. Amelia called relentlessly. I didn't answer. Then came the voicemails, escalating from frantic to furious. She accused me of sabotage, jealousy, and wrecking her dream day. There were screenshots of unpaid invoices, cancellation notices, and finally photos of the place cards. One stood out. "The Letdown," captioned, "You're overreacting." It was a prank. Grow up. It took everything not to reply, not to argue, but because I saw there was nothing left to say. That card spoke volumes. Not just the word, but the laughter, the approving nods around the table, Mom's shrug, Nathan's silence. I deleted the message. The next morning, I visited the leasing office and terminated the car agreement. As the primary signer, I had no trouble. The dealership repossessed it easily, especially since Lucas had dodged their calls for days. After leaving, I sat in my car, staring through the windshield. It felt odd. Not triumphant or vengeful, just a clear, quiet acceptance. I didn't want payback. I wanted freedom. But Amelia wouldn't let it end quietly. Later that week, my aunt, Dad's sister, called. She's the only relative who's always been steady. No sides, no sly digs, just quiet support, always sending warm birthday cards. "Caleb," she said, "I just spoke with your mom. Here we go, I thought. She says you've gone rogue, that you're sabotaging Amelia, shaming the family." I waited. "But I know your mom," she continued, "and Amelia. And I know that if someone like you, patient, kind, always taking more than you deserve, finally snaps, something serious pushed you there." My throat tightened. "She asked me to talk sense into you, said you might listen to me. Is that why you're calling?" I asked. "No," she said softly. "I'm calling to say I see you, and I'm proud of you." It was the first time a family member had said that, and it shattered a wall I'd built with forced smiles and quiet endurance. She apologized for what I'd endured, said walking away is sometimes the bravest act, and maybe they'd understand one day. But for now, I should protect myself and not feel guilty because I'd done nothing wrong. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment scanning the space. It was modest, slightly messy, unpretentious, but mine, every inch. I owed it to no one. I'd earned it by being myself, not pretending to please others. And for the first time in years, I realized I loved my life, even if my family saw no value in it. That weekend, the wedding invitations were sent, and things escalated further. Because it wasn't just that they excluded me, they made sure everyone knew why. When the invites circulated, I didn't expect one, nor did I want one. But I wasn't prepared for what arrived. Not an invitation, but a letter, scrawled on luxurious ivory paper with embossed gold initials, A and L, like a regal decree. No envelope, just folded and shoved in my mailbox, careless. It was from Mom. "Caleb, I hope you've cooled off by now and see the harm you've caused. Amelia is devastated. Lucas's parents withdrew some funding and vendors are ghosting us because of your outburst. I tried to stand up for you, but even I can't keep covering for you when people think something's wrong with you. I'm asking you one last time. Apologize. Fix this. Come to the wedding. Be civil. Be mature. Prove you're not as selfish and petty as you've acted. This is your family, Caleb. Don't destroy everything over a prank." That was my mother. No apology. No reflection on her actions, just guilt laced with superiority and blame. I read it once, then again, slower. Then I folded it neatly and filed it with my lease and car papers, my private archive of evidence that I'd finally set boundaries. Then I poured a drink. That was the final nudge. Not the insult, not the letter, but the expectation that I'd still show up, plaster on a grin, and play their script one last time. I didn't reply. Instead, I planned. I knew the wedding venue, a vineyard estate 2 hours away, the kind chosen for aesthetics, not sentiment. I didn't intend to disrupt. I wasn't seeking drama. I just wanted closure my way. The night before the wedding, I texted Amelia directly, not in the group chat. One sentence. "You're right. I won't be there." She didn't reply, but I saw she read it. The next morning, while they primped with stylists and sipped mimosas, I was on the phone with a lawyer. The thing my family never questioned was how I managed those wedding payments. It wasn't generosity. It wasn't loyalty. It was a loan. A formal agreement between Amelia and me, drafted by a lawyer friend when she first begged for help funding her dream wedding. Back when she still used her saccharine voice and called me her artsy little brother, the terms were clear. I'd cover initial costs, leases, vendor fees, bookings, and she'd repay me within 90 days post-wedding. If she didn't, the contract stipulated full repayment with interest and compensation for any harm to my credit or reputation. She signed it, giggling. "You're so formal, Caleb, like I'd ever stiff you." Now that contract was in play. That morning, the lawyer mailed the demand letter, certified copies to Amelia, Lucas, and my parents, who were looped into the financial plans. I didn't expect payment. I expected panic, and they delivered. That afternoon, while I worked on a logo design for a client, my phone lit up again. This time, Dad. "What's this legal nonsense? Caleb, are you suing your sister on her wedding day?" I didn't answer. He called again, and again, then left a voicemail so long it cut off. "You entitled little... You think this makes you tough? No one respects you. You've always acted like you're owed something." I stopped listening midway. For the first time, I didn't care. because I realized something profound. I'd never truly belonged in that family, not as they wanted. I wasn't the golden child. I wasn't the one they bragged about. I was the fixer, the silent one, the background figure, the bank, the one they remembered for bills or photo filler. And now that I'd walked away, they weren't grieving my absence. They were mad their free resource was gone. That day, I did what I loved, worked, sketched, listened to my favorite playlist, cooked and ate alone, peacefully, without veiled criticism or forced pleasantries. That night, while they danced under fairy lights and posed for filtered photos, I sat on my fire escape, holding a glass of iced tea, watching the city glow. 2 weeks later, the real storm broke. Amelia and Lucas ignored the demand letter, pretending it didn't exist, so the lawyer escalated. A formal lawsuit was filed. When they were served, Mom called again. "Not shouting this time," she pleaded. "Caleb, please don't do this. It's humiliating. People are gossiping. You'll ruin her reputation." I inhaled, steady. "Did you care about my reputation when you laughed at that place card?" Silence. "Did you consider me when you handed me bills and called it a favor?" Nothing. "I'm not doing this for revenge, Mom. I'm doing it because I let you all treat me like I was worthless for years, and I'm done." She hung up. The case stretched for months. Amelia played the victim. Lucas hurled threats. Their lawyer pushed for a quiet settlement. But mine stood firm. We had it all, every receipt, every contract, every message, and they caved. They paid every cent owed, plus damages. I used the money to lease a small downtown studio, a simple space with high ceilings and wide windows, a place to create, design, and breathe. It wasn't grand, but it was mine. And the best part? They vanished from my life. No holiday calls, no birthday texts, not when Nathan's wife had their second kid, not when Dad retired and Mom framed it like a gala online. They erased me, and it didn't sting, because I wasn't angry, I wasn't sad, I was free. I still keep that place card. The Letdown. It's in a studio drawer, not out of resentment, but as a reminder. Sometimes, walking away isn't defeat. It's choosing to thrive. It's claiming your value. It's the first step toward the life you want. You don't owe anyone explanations, especially not those who only called you family when it served them. So what are your thoughts on this story? Do you agree with what happened, or do you see it differently? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories. See you in the next one.